Hi, this is Scott with 4D Tech. Today we will be installing the SiriusXM Satellite Radio upgrade kit from 4D Tech in this F-150. The upgrade kit consists of the replacement tuner module, a programmer to program the screen to accept it, and the SiriusXM antenna. This video also covers the HD upgrade kit, as the installation is the same except that you will not be installing the antenna. We're going to get started here. First, we need to remove this speaker grill. If your vehicle does not have the center speaker, there will just be a rubber mat you got to pop out to get to the same two screws. We just need to take out the two 7mm screws here at the front of the tray. You can also check the tools section of our website for any tools that you see used here today that you may need and don't already own. If you have the center channel speaker, you just push this clip to unplug it and we'll set this tray out of the way. You can check the description below or the compatibility on our website to see what vehicles and what years that this procedure covers. The later years of the F-150s from 19 and beyond do not have a CD slot, but this procedure is the same regardless. The only difference is your bezel won't have a CD slot and the tuner module will not have a CD slot as well. So once we remove those two 7mm screws, we'll pop this panel off the front of the dash. So these two connectors on the back of this bezel have clips on the bottom side of them, and you just push in the clip to disconnect the connector. And then these two up here have a little clip at the end of the connector where my pointer finger is, inside a little box on the back side of the connector, and you push that little clip to release each one. These are color coded and keyed, so you don't have to worry, they'll only plug back in one way. And we'll set aside this panel. You can see on the back of the connector here, that's the little tab that we're pushing in on to release those. Now, if you're installing this upgrade in a different model of vehicle, the procedure is the same as this F-150, just your dash panels are going to come apart differently. So next we need to remove the tuner module out of the vehicle. That's got four 7mm screws here. Once you have the screws out, you pull the module straight out of the dash, and then we need to disconnect the connectors here. So there's tabs on the top of each of these connectors that you push in and remove the connectors. This antenna connector is a little tricky to get out. This tab on the back doesn't move much, and you got to catch the tab right at the back edge to unplug the connector. If you're doing an HD radio upgrade kit and you already have satellite radio, there will be a second connector that is a mustard color right next to this that unplugs the same way. So what we'll need to do next is we need to move the brackets from our tuner that we took out to the new upgrade kit. This one has 3 Phillips screws on each side, and we're going to take those screws out and move the brackets over. All right, these brackets that we moved over, with the screw pattern, it doesn't allow for you to accidentally put them on backwards, so don't worry about doing that. We'll set this aside momentarily. The next thing we need to do is install the satellite antenna. As I said, if you're doing an HD kit, which you can also use this video for, you won't be installing the antenna and you can just skip this part. So you can put this antenna underneath the dash if you want, like anywhere underneath the plastic where it's not blocked by any metal or on this ledge here. I prefer for satellite radio antennas for them to be on the top of the dash all the way up against the windshield, and we'll show you where my preferred spot is. If you have a different vehicle than the F-150 that you're doing this in, you'll be able to find a similar spot and path through into the vehicle. So because of the way we're going to route the wiring, we need to unspool this. So where I like to put the antenna is all the way up here on the front edge of the dash in front of the defrosters. So you already got your headlight sensor here, you're already seeing something sticking up. So what you can do is do that, and then you can bring your wire in this gap between the defroster and the dash. So we'll show you how to do that. Because you have this tray out, it's an easy reach. And we'll just reach under and push up on the dash while we slide the connector underneath. Once we do that, we'll fish the entire length of wire through. So once we have the wire fished through, the kit will come with a double-sided adhesive pad and some alcohol wipes to clean the surface to stick it down. We'll come back and do that later after the video and after we've tested everything. But we'll be adhering the antenna down right here at the front edge of the windshield on this plastic, right in between the 2 wipers, so that those aren't blocking the signal at all. So now that we have the wire routed in here, we'll loop most of it back up for storage. And that can rest right here underneath this tray opening. And then we just need to route this connector down to where the new tuner module is going. And there's plenty of room to do that inside the dash. When you get down here, you'll want to make sure that you run this wire behind this metal brace that the tuner module goes up against. That way you're going to be sure that you will not pinch the wire when you put the tuner module in. So we will take our satellite radio tuner module and install it now. You'll see the difference is that you now have that satellite radio connector here for the antenna. So we just need to plug this back in. And we'll grab the connectors down, and these fell down inside the dash, so we had to pull them back up and just plug them back into the audio control module. Then we'll pull out our AM/FM antenna here. The satellite antenna, you have the clip facing up on it, and slide it over that connector there. And we'll connect the AM/FM antenna last because it's the shortest. Make sure when you push those antenna connectors in, and also the other bigger connectors, anything that you're reconnecting, push it all the way in until you hear the click. If it doesn't click in or seems like it's really tough to push in, you'll want to pull the connector back out and see what's stopping it from going in. So we'll slide this back in. There's a nub on the back of the module that has to go inside the hole in the center of that brace. So if you're aligned right, it'll push right in and you'll be flat up against your screw holes, and then we'll replace those 4 screws. With those 4 screws replaced, now we'll replace the front dash panel. You'll just need to reconnect these 2 large connectors at the bottom here. And then the small connectors, make sure you plug those back in at the top. There'll be like little pieces of tape here around the wire that actually match the color of the back of the switch. So we have a black and a gray. And like I said before, these are keyed differently, so you can't mix them up. So you'll push your wiring back into the holes where it slips out of. Snap our dash panel back on, and we'll replace these 2 screws up here. And then we'll just replace the tray up here. If you have the center channel speaker, be sure to reconnect it. With those screws back in, replace the grill or the rubber mat. Next, we'll need to run the can opener flash programmer that came with the kit. This will enable the satellite radio kit or HD kit, if that's what you're installing, on your existing screen system. If you are purchasing this kit in conjunction with one of our other conversions or upgrades that upgrade your screen or navigation, then that screen system will come programmed for the kit already and will not include this programmer, and this programmer will not need to be run. Also, if you're purchasing a 4-inch to 8-inch conversion that normally comes with a programmer, that programmer is making changes to your existing audio control module. So if you purchased it all together with this kit, then everything is pre-programmed on both ends, and you will not have any programmers that you'll need to run, which will simplify the installation. To run this programmer, we need to turn on the ignition first. And you can turn on the ignition or have the vehicle running. Either way, the programmer will work. And you'll take the programmer and plug it into the diagnostic port underneath the dash. And it'll blink blue while it's programming the screen. And then turn green when it's completed. You'll now see, once we go to the audio menu, sources, that SiriusXM now shows up as a source. It'll start out on the preview channel here with no subscription, but you'll be able to hear audio on the preview channel. If we go to channel 0, that will give you your Sirius ID number, and then you'll call SiriusXM to activate your subscription, and that's the ID number that they'll need. So that is how simple it is to install our SiriusXM Satellite Radio upgrade kit in this vehicle. It's the same procedure as we talked about before with the HD kit, and the procedure is the same, just the dash is different on other models that we offer the kit for. I'm Scott with 4D Tech. Thank you for checking out our video.